Let's bring him in now. Let's go to North Carolina. The public address announcer of the Carolina Hurricanes, Wade Minter, joins us today on video chat. How you doing, Wade?
I am doing great. It's a wonderful, warm day here in North Carolina. We're playing hockey in August. Everything is chaos. I'm loving it.
No kidding. Welcome to Canada, by the way. I love that you said you are officially international, baby. You know that hockey is king here. Have you been to Canada? Have you got what's your history?
Yeah, I've been a few times. I worked for a company, helped start a company called Team Snap that had a pretty good user base up in Canada. So I've hit Toronto and Ottawa. I also went to the Heritage Classic in Vancouver back in the early 2010s because Team Snap was a sponsor there. So I've hit 3 of the cities, have not been out to the prairies or the west, but it is on the bucket list.
Well, you got I can tell already, good voice. I can tell just by listening to you. And obviously, we've heard you from every Hurricanes game. It's game 1 opening up against Boston today. What's the Raleigh area, all of North Carolina, I guess, going through with the Hurricanes in the playoffs, but not at home?
It is frustrating because we went through that decade-long playoff drought where we couldn't buy a ticket to the playoffs. Had an amazing run, a magical season last year. Everyone fell in love with the Hurricanes again. They were exceptionally hyped, really strong season this year coming into the pause, and then everything stopped. So the team has done a great job on social media and through its other endeavors to keep the fans engaged with the team through the pause. And now that we're up in Toronto in the hub, they're bringing us a lot of content. So even though we can't be there at PNC Arena screaming and waving our towels, the team has kept us engaged, and the fans are really enjoying everything that they're seeing.
You know, you make a really good point, and Darren, you jump in anytime. The team just comes back, and then this. You know, you can't watch them. You can't reach out and touch them, and God knows when's the next time you'll be able to do that. But you know, Clark brought up last year the bunch of jerks thing that Don Cherry labeled them, and the elaborate post-game celebrations after wins. What was your role in that and your thoughts on that, Mr. Minter?
Yeah, so I was as surprised as the fans when the storm surge started. I have no advance notice as far as kind of the hockey information totem pole. I'm at the very bottom. But when we saw the first one, it was like, oh, well, that's kind of different. And then we saw the second one, which was exactly like the first. Like, oh, okay, this is what they're doing. But then they kept finding interesting ways to raise the bar. I mean, when you've got Evander Holyfield coming out on the ice to knock out Jordan Martinook at the conclusion of a game, it is a unique experience that you're really not going to get anywhere else. And here in Raleigh, we embrace our roots as a non-traditional hockey market. We tailgate and are cooking barbecue outside of the arena every game, and being able to have something that was uniquely our own, I think was a rallying point for the team and the fan base.
Well, and speaking of that, by the way, I've been to Raleigh. It was the NHL draft there. I want to say 02 or 03. Loved it. Beautiful. So green. It's such a beautiful part of the world. But you're pretty active on social media. I see you got a lot of followers. What's the reach of the fan base? How far does that epicenter go for real diehard Hurricanes fans? I mean, you're going to have some on the other side of the world, of course, right, that are contacting you on Twitter. But as far as guys that are really dialed in, how far does that circle go geographically?
We got a wide range because, especially with last year, the team actually became fun to watch again. And if a team's fun to watch, people are going to tune in. They're going to pay attention to exciting players. Sebastian Aho, Andrei Svechnikov, Dougie Hamilton, Jacob Slavin. I mean, these guys are extremely entertaining to watch. So as the Canes became good again and the Canes became fun again, we've seen the reach go across the United States and Canada and global. We've got a lot of Finnish players on the team, so there's a big following in Finland. We even have at least one fan in Saskatchewan, my man Chris Cote up there, and he has not been to Raleigh for a game, but he engages with the team up there from Saskatchewan every time we're playing.
Well, you know what's funny is we got to get Chris Cote together with Nick Saragella, who's probably watching right now in Estevan, and you can appreciate this, Wade. He signed with the Hartford Whalers in the 80s as a goalie and bounced around that organization. So the Hartford fingerprints are still really all over the Carolina Hurricanes, and it seems to me like you guys are cool with that. Unlike the Washington Nationals, who want nothing to do with Montreal or the Expos, the Hurricanes embrace the Whalers' history, if I'm right.
Well, they do as of the Tom Dundon administration. So the Peter Carmanos era, from the time they moved from Hartford down to Raleigh, very much put the kibosh on any Whalers history. But there's obviously a big fan community that loves the team, or at least loves the logo, which is one of the most iconic in all of sports. So when Tom Dundon came in with the team, he said, let's lean into it. Let's embrace our past as the Whalers. Let's have Whalers Heritage Night. Let's bring some Whalers alums down for our alumni games. And it's just another part of a storied franchise that didn't get a lot of love for a while, but now everyone's fully bought into it.
That's cool. I'm glad to hear that. I got a question here from producer Clark. You kind of covered this already, but maybe he was tied up when you did. But he said, what has the youthful insurgence to the team been like in terms of watching the team play? Aho, Teravainen, Svechnikov, etc. How exciting is the team right now?
The depth is unbelievable. I look back 2 or 3 years when I started with the Canes in the 2015-16 season, and we had kind of AHL depth players up and down the lineup. And, nice guys, but not really kind of bringing the mail in terms of exciting hockey. With the team now, you've got Ryan Dzingel with all of his speed and ability as a healthy scratch, because the depth is that strong in the team. You've got Trevor Van Riemsdyk, a solid NHL defenseman who's fighting for ice time because there's so many good defensemen on the team. Goaltending has been, fun and an area where I think we've finally gotten a little stability after kind of the early Cam Ward years. But being able to see a team like put a line out like Teravainen, Aho, and Svechnikov scoring lacrosse goals. Slavin just being one of the best defensemen in the entire league, and you get to see it right in front of you. 41 games a year. That is a treat that I think people are very appreciative of.
For me, does that bunch of jerks slogan still come up, or was that a whole 2019 thing and it's over?
It is part of the history. I don't think the team leaned particularly heavily into it this year. There was a little bit, but it was kind of lightning in a bottle. The team was doing something fun and different, and folks like Don Cherry, Brian Burke were not fans of it. And when you're a kid, what's the one thing that makes you want to do something when people tell you you can't? So they were able to lean into it, and that run to the Eastern Conference Finals from a decade of obscurity, coinciding with the bunch of jerks, coinciding with the team's marketing and social media efforts, being able to bring a lot of creativity, made the 2019 season magical. But in 2019-20, it was like, all right, we've been back to the playoffs. We've reestablished our identity. Now let's get to work. And that's kind of been the mantra for the season up to the pause. And now with the restart, I think Rod Brindamore's still got that mindset of come to work hard, earn it.
All right. Well, they're fun to watch. I've got him picked to beat Boston, and I hope that's the case. Rod Brindamore, personal fave of mine, going back to the Notre Dame Hounds days, which is just, how far is it down the road? 20 miles south at the most. So, Wade, thanks. You covered it all. You made us even more of Carolina Hurricanes fans, so enjoy it. You, sir, are not a jerk, and don't be a stranger.
Absolutely. Glad to be up here in Western Canada, at least virtually from my car. Yeah. And, check out some road goal calls on social media. I'll be entertaining the fans from home since I'm not in the bubble.
Oh, sweet. Good stuff. All right, man. Stay safe. Wade Minter, public address announcer of the Carolina Hurricanes, joining us from his car in North Carolina.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.